school, and my neighbor was mowing the lawn, and everything was a nice Saturday, quiet, relaxed feel that you long for the rest of the week. And my mom was outside, my dad was outside, my brother, both my brothers were outside, and I was inside sulking because I was grounded. The reason why I was grounded is fit for another story, so I'm not going to say it right now. So, I was on my bed, legs crossed, glaring at the wall, thinking of how insignificant I felt then. Then I used a blame your sibling tactic, so I blamed my brother. I blamed him for why I got in trouble, and you'll see if I ever tell that story. So, and I've been reading several revenge books, so I'm like, why don't I get revenge on my brother? But I was grounded, but the only place I was allowed to go was in the bathroom, and that was such a big opening that I almost jumped for joy. So I had to pretend to be angry. So, I went to the bathroom as if I was going to, do my business. So, the first thing I did was grab my mom's newly fresh stacked towels, throw them all over the ground, and squirt toothpaste on them, and then put hand soap on the ground and make it all slippery and disgusting. It was really fun. The second thing I did was grab my brother by the armpit and drag him in there, lock the door, run back to my room, and pretend I was reading a book. Of course, my mom or my dad, I can't remember which, wanted to go to the bathroom. They opened the door, they saw my brother in a mess of towels, and they blamed it on me. And they say that the reason why they blamed it on me was because my brother couldn't reach the toothpaste, and I still think they're lying. So yeah, fail, my first fail. Plan A was a fail. The second thing was trying to persuade my brother to get in trouble. I needled him, I tried to make him, I pushed him to the door, I convinced him that my parents were evil people. I tried to get him in trouble, because if I got him in trouble, somehow I would feel better. So I pushed him, I tried to make him get in trouble, but all he did was get me in trouble again. So I was grounded for Sunday. My last plan was interesting. See, my brother managed to get in trouble somehow, and now we were both in our room, we were both grounded, but yet I didn't feel happy because I wasn't the one who got him in trouble. It was my brother. So I hated my brother, and my other brother hated my brother, so Morrison. So Mason was the one who was with me. Morrison was outside, and we both hated Morrison right then. Hey, I know hate's a strong word, but the 7-year-olds. So he was outside playing with my dad's soccer, and my mom was just sitting there reading the article or something on Facebook. And the thing was that my parents had made cookies, and they left them to dry or to cool off on the stove. These gigantic cookies, like I said, in my hand, all chocolatey, all beautiful. Let's take them, I said. So we go and we're running, and we just have these, and then we jump in the kitchen, we look outside the window, we see my parents, and we just run back to the room. We need a plan, I said to my brother. My mother said, well, I'm hungry. I said, we need a plan, we need to take those cookies and get my brother in trouble. I didn't really want to, I just wanted to eat cookies then. So we creep into the kitchen, crawling, which was not really necessary since somebody was in the house. Crawling on the ground, acting like spies. I wrapped a baseball cap around my head for good measure. We snuck in the kitchen, grabbed these spatulas, raised them in the air as if they were swords, and attacked those terrorized cookies. We grabbed them and we stuffed them in our mouths, and then we brought them all to our room, and we just picked out. Until my dad came and started yelling. So I'm like, hide the evidence, hide the evidence. We stuffed the cookies under our pillows along with other assorted snacks we had stolen. And we were just sitting there in our bed. But we had chocolate around our mouths, and chocolate on our fingers, and chocolate on the doors, and chocolate on the ground. And later, I asked my dad recently how he found it. He said because there's a trail of crumbs from the kitchen all the way to our room, so I guess I should have been more careful. We were just sitting there, and my dad goes ballistic, and my mom goes ballistic, and my brother goes eating-istic, and my brother, Mason, didn't care when he got in trouble. He just cared of the secret stash of cookies he had under his pillow that my mom had failed to find. I was actually pretty happy. I don't know why. This is weird stuff, no logic, but I still can't understand how I was happy then. But I don't know. And I was no longer mad at my brother. Neither of them. I guess I just needed a cookie. Because sometimes a cookie just makes a grounding feel better, even though you tried it several times to make it feel better. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to talk while you all are eating. And Greg has already given you a clue as to why I'm here. It was because Rebecca and Chuck Willingham and I served on Greg's sabbatical committee. And that was great. But I'm glad to have the microphone because I get to say one of the things that a lot of people have heard me say, which is why I love this place. And I love this place for lots of reasons, but the thing that really always boggles my mind is that everybody here has their gift. Everybody has their gift. And when you give your gift in this church, we make this place hum. Right? And, you know, sometimes gifts come in an unexpected form, in an unexpected place, as we saw this morning with the youth performance, and particularly the dance and music part of that service. I mean, the dance that the Sherman girls did was really such a gift in many ways. So, in any case, so in the process of showing you very quickly, Greg, what we did while you were away, and there's a lot that's missing, because we're just hitting the highlights. I'm going to be naming names. I'm going to be telling you who are the folks who helped make all this happen. So, we're going to start, maybe I need to push up just a little bit so I can see. So this is February 5th, and this is the tag sale table that you left us with. And this thing went through so many changes. I'm trying to think of the plural for metamorphoses. Under the capable, watchful eye of Leona Dalton. So literally, for the whole 3 months, this tag sale table was in rotation. Stuff came, stuff went. People put their money in the little green box, and we ended up making $406.50. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the facilities improvements, and you mentioned them this morning in the annual report. But first of all, I'm going to give to you the email that I got from Bill Spence with 15 things that happened by property management and the green team together during those 3 months. And I'm not obviously going to read them all. We don't have slides of them all. But the first one is the sanctuary chandeliers had LED bulbs installed and the globes washed. The last one, number 15, is although a New England tradition, bids are being received to repair the potholes in the driveway and parking lot. The folks who, with the LED lighting project, the contractors came early before the office was open and they left late. So we had to have folks here on the premises to let the contractors in at 7 o'clock in the morning and be here at 7 o'clock at night possibly when they left. So Jane Fadden was the project manager for that whole operation, and Ernie and Judy Edwards and Chuck and Joe Willingham and Bill Spence and perhaps others that I don't know the names of, but in any case, they were the folks who saw to it that this whole lighting project, which went on for a good solid 3 weeks or 4 weeks, that it all works smoothly. And amazing pictures of cartons that were stacked up out there. The other thing that happened was, of course, the installation of the new sound system. And David Fisher tells me that much of that work in terms of finding potential contractors, vendors, comparing bids, et cetera, and so forth, occurred before you left, and that you and Nancy had it really under control at when you left, but still installation day occurred later. And the folks who had raised their hands when the call went out for who's willing to help figure out what we're going to do about the sound system were Dave DeShern, Carol Blackman, Mark Dooley, Robin Jerome, Michael Cunningham, Maureen Crocker, and Bill Spence. So here are photos of all of those projects. And then okay, now we're going to pause over the hospitality team. This thing got underway, I think, just after you left, or perhaps just before. It's under the leadership of Sue Tonkus with John Tonkus picking up the ball and creating new name tags for everybody. And you'll note that we're doing a 3-month trial of serving coffee in Parish Hall Sunday mornings at 9:30. So here's some folks. I need to name the names. These are the folks who are helping with that enterprise. Sue and John Tonkus, Carol Blackman, Sandy Clark, Len and Leona Dalton, Dawn and Steve Geisler, Amy Hall, Barbara Lagavon, Deb and Ed Sawyer, Manny Shaw, Orpha Schoner, Dave Snyder, Patrice Thornburg, and Linda Volakovic.
I can put this.
So, there's some photos from the hospitality scene.
I can take it, stick it in there and spill. Collect all my tissues.
Now, this is just a one-shot picture of what happened on March 17th. This is the baptism of Juliet Elizabeth Bolt. Was baptized and welcomed into our congregation. And isn't that a lovely family photo? So that was a nice day. Okay, here we are on storytelling. We had 2 events while you were gone. The first one happened on February 10th when we met Rose, I think it's Saya or Saya. Saya, how are you pronounce last name? And she brought with her some of her friends who tell stories. And so we learned kind of how a good storytelling works. And Reedy also was organized to have sign-up sheets for those who wanted to take the whole series of 3 workshops to learn how to tell a story. And then the second event occurred on March 31st when Women's Fellowship organized a luncheon after church on Sunday in place of the usual Women's Fellowship tea. So we had more guest storytellers, but we also had stories from, and then by this time the workshops were over. We had Al Raposa and Madrid and Deb Sawyer share their stories at that, and I think we're going to hear a couple more this afternoon. Okay, I'm having trouble seeing you. The Africa Exchange Project fundraiser happened. They had, you see the pictures of this room, 140 attendees, and Rob Schott has reported to me that both before, during, and after, they have raised $23,000. Wow. And, thanks go to any of you who participated in one way, shape, or form, even coming to the night itself. But certainly the leadership there, Rob and Maddie Schott, Dorothy Russo and Tom Witherow, Sue Ellis, Rebecca Reiner, Patrice Thornburg, and Sydney Turner were the folks who helped make that night happen.
That's our magician.
Oh, here we are, Palm Sunday. We were happened to be away that particular Sunday, but there will be a slide that you'll see with Vernon Turner and Jason Miller being wrapped in the good wishes of this congregation because the next day they were running in the Boston Marathon. And David Wells was their special cheerleader for not only them, but for other Framingham runners as well. So here's some photos from Palm Sunday. There they are. And here comes Easter Sunday. We were able to continue with our recent pattern of flowering the cross. Thanks, I think, again to Dave Stern, who created a new cross of more manageable size. We didn't need step stools and ladders to get flowers all the way to the top. So we still have done that. It was not a great day outside, so our Easter egg hunt had to happen indoors. And there's some residue of that. Also saying goodbye to Alyssa before she took her medical leave. Oh, and here we have our annual rummage, plant, and bake sale day on May 4th. And Maddie Schott, on behalf of the social action team, was sort of the head honcho for the rummage sale, but there were lots of people who helped this whole weekend, and I don't have all those names, but there were people who put out the clothes and bundled them all up, and the thing was over. People baked goods. Judy Noonan was in charge of the bake sale on behalf of Women's Fellowship, and Len and Leona Dalton were involved, obviously, in the plant sale, and Ellen Ribor would have been, but she was sidetracked by her death of her brother. And then Bill and Teresa Miriam and the Daltons together operated a church world service depot that day for other churches to bring their church world service contributions to us so that we could then give them out. So. Okay. Three-part series on reading this book, White Fragility. But it started really on Palm Sunday with Ernie Edwards providing a brown bag post-church seminar, I guess I would call it, called Exploring Threads of Social Justice and Reflections on Racism. And then there was a 3-time workshop on this book, White Fragility, and Rob Schott and Jane Fadden were the two who organized that and led the workshop, both the daytime group and the evening group. And the participants who did either the day or the nighttime group were Jack and Kathy Berry, and Leslie Dooley, and Amy Hall, and Grace Hammond, Sharon Kerr, Beth Horatio, Anna and Deb Sawyer, Maddie Schott, Dan and Shari Van Hook, Vern Williams, Mary Whittemore, and then Reedy obviously went to a couple, Will was at the couple, and we had two visitors from outside the church, Tim Allen and Jill Turk. So it was a healthy group of folks who read that book, which is not an easy book to read, but compliment Rob and Jane in particular for giving leadership to that.
I think it was like a rummage sale or bake sale. Yeah, rummage sale. Well,
Now, return Sunday, May 5th.
Sorry, you missed it.
I purposely wanted to end this with this particular shot because, and I'm really sorry that Will isn't here, but even though he's not, I'm going to talk about him because he is the man in the middle in this shot. And his bookends are very strong, right? Greg and Reedy. But Will really in many ways was the brick and the glue that held all this together. He was a familiar person. You know that he helped to coach Reedy about how we do things around here. And he would have had to have taken on extra pastoral care responsibilities, of which there were a lot. We all know the 4 people who passed away who were members of our congregation, but we had other deaths among family-related folks, and then there were folks who were not part of our congregation, perhaps former members who called on our pastors to provide a graveside service or something. So literally there were 7 or 8 folks who needed pastoral attention during the time that he was away. So anyway, I just think when you next see Will, kind of give him an extra pat on the back because he did that. In the meantime, also he helped to pull together a small search committee to see if we could find an outside person to spell Jen Gannell, who was about to have her second baby, and we were going to hire somebody to just carry over from the House Nursery School while she's on maternity leave. In the end, we are going to just turn to a couple of the teachers to do that, but we did have a whole search process going on. So now the other thing I need to speak to is today. This meal was planned as part of the grant from the Lilly Foundation to pay for this. There are people in the kitchen, but the meal has been catered, so nobody's had to put money in a basket. Nobody's had to go grocery shopping and bring in a pop-up meal. But we owe our thanks specifically to Sandy Clark, Jessica Coach, for organizing today. And equally important from my perspective is Jack Berry and John Thomas, who put together the slideshow. All the pictures were taken by Hither and Yana folks as the 3 months went along, and John Central collected them all, but then passed them on to John Thomas and Jack Berry, and Jack really spent much of this week listening to me in my emails saying, put this slide over there, put this slide over there, anyway. So now, the fact that nobody has had to put money in the basket to pay for this food, I want to bring to your attention, buy a blessing. Buy a blessing, for those who don't know, is simply, we do have a little bit of a deficit going on now, and Pat McFerrin has put together the list of just the stuff that we have to pay for to run this place. You know, how much does a carton of copy paper cost? Or how much does it cost to pay our property insurance bill for a month? Little bits and pieces. So back there on the bulletin board is an opportunity for you, and I know you pay your pledge on time, but this is a way to just do extra. Our options of just buying something that pays run this place. So back there as you leave, there's a bulletin board. Pat, are you there, Pat? Yes. Pat might help you pick out an item. There may be some envelopes there. Put it in the plate, right? Buy a blessing on your check. Let's keep this going. So, there's probably 100 more pictures that you could see. There was a game night. There was, what else do I know about that we don't have pictures of? Anyway, there are a lot of other pictures if you just at some point wanted to take the time to see the tag table in process. So that's our story, that's our show, that's our story. And we missed you, but we got along, and we're glad you're back.
Greg was going to come up here next, but I'm telling him he has to go over there to the cake so we can get a picture of him so that we can cut it, so we can eat cake. So if Greg did, we have a few photographers, whoever wants to get a picture of Greg and this beautiful cake that Jessica decorated for us. There was also one thank you that didn't get on our table. Mary Beth very graciously also made us a bunch of those delicious scones. Thank you, Mary Beth.
Further on events, there's dessert that's coming out, so you can avail yourself of that, and then we have a story from Mark Dooley, which will anchor our afternoon. So, let them